Fellas, have you ever wondered what it'd be like if you were the developer behind Buckshot Roulette, looked at Mario Party and saw the Saw films and thought this would make one hell of a party game? Because somebody actually did exactly that, and the result is Machine Party, a game where you and 3 of your closest friends are converted into disposable test subjects and loaded into what appears to be an industrial torture complex, all in the name of healthy competition. Imagine Mario Party, except every minigame was designed by an engineer whose response to workplace safety regulations was simply
no.
There are no stars, no colourful board, no friendly mushroom congratulating you for coming third. Failure is rewarded with immediate industrial consequences. And success earns you the privilege of watching those consequences happen to somebody you previously considered a friend. How the hell did I need to get 50?
1. I was short of 1.
So today we are entering the machine, competing through all 15 simulations, discovering which members of my friend group would sacrifice me for a single point, and hopefully figuring out what this colossal mechanical nightmare is actually being used for. Welcome to Machine Party.
I don't know what my workspace is.
Before the games even begin, Machine Party makes something very clear. You are not arriving at a party. You are being processed.
No. Wait.
A grimy green CRT monitor flickers to life. Your name appears on the screen after several glowing power cells are loaded into circular openings along the wall. One by one, each cell gets inserted into the machine. No explanation, just you and your friends' names slowly appearing, lining up for what is to come. Which led me to believe our physical bodies had either been converted into electricity or we had become the world's least reliable collection of rechargeable batteries. Either way, the machine confirms that the simulation is ready. Another CRT monitor activates. The first game is selected. The controls appear with some brief help and instructions, and the machine politely waits for everyone to press ready before subjecting us to something that would get an entire engineering department imprisoned. This happens before every round. A new simulation, a new control scheme, and another opportunity to misunderstand the instructions and die before you have processed the second page. Aaron's always the first one. Ah! One round might give you a rifle, the next gives you a forklift, then a chisel, then a fork, a cigarette, then something designed right out of hell to detach your spine from the rest of your body and make every arachnophobe's worst nightmare come to life. You will eventually learn to read the instructions properly before pressing ready. You probably won't learn this immediately, none of us did. So what is Machine Party? Machine Party throws you through 15 different simulations. One moment you're sprinting away from bouncing industrial death Roombas as if someone wanted to make a horror version of Beyblades. The next you're desperately stuffing peas into your mouth before somebody at the end of the table notices and settles it with a shot to the face. Then you're left inside an Indian simulator arguing over who gets to survive inside a tiny hole in a wall while an oncoming train settles the disagreement. Everything about Machine Party is wrapped inside Mike Lublenka's familiar industrial nightmare aesthetic. Low poly test subjects, oppressive machinery, green CRT displays, metal corridors disappearing into total darkness. Oh, Canadian boy, where are you? Hydraulic equipment operating without anything resembling an emergency stop button. Oh, you nudged me! I didn't know you could nudge it now! And a soundtrack that sounds like a factory slowly developing homicidal intent. Machine Party isn't really trying to terrify you in the traditional sense. It wants you to laugh at your friend's catastrophic workplace injury, only for you to realize that could have been you. Our first simulation was Minefield. The objective was simple: run down an outdoor corridor filled with buried explosives and reach the van waiting at the other end. You are fenced in on both sides. The ground beneath you is filled with mines, and the only escape is to jump into the back of a pedophile's free candy mobile. To help, each player is equipped with sonar. Hold the button, scan the ground, locate nearby explosives, then run through whatever route appears least likely to remove your lower body. There is no pushing here, no direct sabotage, just you and your ability to detect, and the growing suspicion that the friend you're following has absolutely no idea where they're going. Everyone begins carefully, well, unless you're Aaron. Oh. Aaron's always the first one, man. But yeah, scan, move, scan again. Somebody eventually gets impatient, they sprint past the group, take 3 confident steps, and immediately discovers that the lower half of the human body is in fact optional. Now, hitting one mine does not remove you from the simulation. Instead, it just blows your legs off. It gives you a second chance while leaving behind a long snail trail of blood. So one moment you're watching a fully grown man carefully sweep the ground ahead, the next he's propelling himself towards the van using nothing but his arms like a deeply traumatized slug, while you try not to vomit at the sight of his motionless legs in a crater. Unfortunately, you only get one chance. Hit another mine and you become somebody else's cleaning problem, which creates a strange hierarchy. The untouched players are still cautiously scanning, the injured players are fearlessly crawling towards safety, and everybody is silently judging the one man, Aaron, who somehow lost both legs within 5 seconds of starting. Eventually, somebody reaches the van and throws themselves inside. Some arrive standing, some arrive crawling, and some become a permanent environmental feature in the form of a giant red bloody puddle. Next is Chisel Gauntlet. The machine briefly shows you a shape made from cubes, then removes the example. You must chisel pieces away from your own block until it matches what you were shown and you remember. This sounds like a simple test of memory and spatial awareness. For me, it was a formal diagnosis. Everyone in my friend group, including myself, must have short-term memory loss, because in our first ever playthrough, not a single soul survived.
Oh shit. Oh no.
Well, this is gonna be interesting.
One incorrect chisel ruins everything. You can reset the shape, but resetting does not show you the reference image again, meaning you are now staring at a fresh cube while attempting to reconstruct a memory your brain discarded to preserve the lyrics to songs you haven't heard since 2009. Eventually, you begin converting the shape in whatever personally works for yourself. I tried remembering based on counting the number of blocks missing in certain sections. This worked surprisingly well sometimes, but 9 times out of 10, I still didn't remember and I lost my face to a shotgun blast.
I didn't survive.
And at that point, Chisel Gauntlet stops being a memory game and just becomes competitive Alzheimer's, until my fiendish brain realized I could just use the snipping tool to screenshot the cube and not rely on memory anymore.
I have an idea!
Then came Firearm Factory. Each player is given a weapon recipe, the necessary components are scattered around the room, you must find the correct parts in order and carry them back to your station. Assemble the weapon, then use your newly crude death ray to redecorate the walls with your friend's blood.
Oh, this is my new favorite one. Look at the amount of blood, bro.
When somebody finally completes the firearm, the atmosphere changes immediately.
Oh, you both got it. Oh.
The factory worker has become the factory owner. Or, if you're Aaron, you figure out to cheese out the death ray's blast by uncomfortably getting close to the shooter.
Basically, if you get past this muzzle, you don't die. So that's the strat.
You can't hurt me, I've got a helmet on.
Wrong way places every player in the middle of an escalator traveling against them. A sequence of directional inputs appears on your screen. Every correct input moves you upwards. Every mistake allows the escalator to drag you back down. This is essentially an extremely aggressive neurological examination. And if you mess up, you or any of your friends who falls behind is fed directly into the meat grinder, where they are reduced into a bloody pulp in full view of everybody still climbing. There is no mystery. No tasteful cutaway, no suggestion that they might be fine. You can quite clearly watch your friend descend into the mechanism before being converted into something resembling an industrial quantity of strawberry jam. This adds a surprising amount of motivation, or anxiety, whichever way you look at it. You aren't merely trying to reach the top, you are listening to the machinery beneath you process everyone who failed the world's most violent QuickTime event. One missed input causes panic, panic causes 3 more mistakes, and suddenly your hand on the keyboard starts spazzing out. And before long, somebody disappears down the escalator while the rest of us continue pressing arrows and pretending not to notice. Luckily, I seem to be the most autistic and survived every time in our first playthrough, until on our second run I realised Bartrick is even more autistic than me.
I'm gonna lose. Bartrick won. Bartrick's better than me than the last session.
Duck Hunt divides the group into 2 roles. One player becomes the hunter. Everyone else becomes increasingly concerned wildlife. The runners must cross an open arena using scattered cover. The hunter watches through a scoped rifle. A body shot can be survived, but wounds can make you slower. A second shot is fatal. And a headshot immediately settles the argument.
Oh, you motherfucker!
Headshot, bitch.
As a runner, timing is everything. Wait for the hunter to fire, so they have to rack the bolt, then sprint between cover while they can't shoot. What you should not do is remain behind one wall indefinitely, because eventually the hunter realizes patience is optional and starts firing at whichever parts of your body are still visible. Or you soft block yourself, in which you and the hunter knows there's only one way you can get out of cover.
Oh, come on, Aaron. I want to play the rest of the game. It's either try or die.
With several runners, teamwork should improve everyone's odds. One person draws fire, the others advance. Very tactical, very organized. Unfortunately, cooperation lasts until the exit becomes visible. Then every runner independently decides that everybody else is an expendable distraction. Meanwhile, as the hunter, you experience the intoxicating power of controlling an entire corridor with a Barrett 50 cal.
He's gonna win, Aaron. This is all your fault, Aaron.
I quickly came to realize that wounding them first like a sadistic freak was the best strategy. Slower moving targets are always easier pickings for later. Arguably, Duck Hunt is probably one of my favorite minigames in Machine Party.
Stephen Hawking to this.
Headshot, bitch.
I'm actually not in Modern Warfare 2. Shoot you perfect Nazi.
In stable footing, the floor is divided into tiles marked with symbols. The screens on the wall randomly choose one, and you must stand on the matching tile. Every incorrect section of the floor disappears. Simple, unless you're me and fail to pay attention.
Aaron, you...
What?
Wait, what? I was on the X. What? Patrick, that's not an X. Oh, wait, fuck.
Then the floor returns, the symbols change, and another one is selected, and the process continues until the available floor space resembles the housing market. Early on, everyone behaves politely. There are enough safe tiles. There's no reason to fight, and we can all survive. This attitude lasts approximately 10 seconds once the floor begins shrinking and mutual respect completely gets thrown out the window. Everyone starts trying to push people down below, and suddenly a game about identifying shapes becomes Murder Simulator.
Yes, very close. I'm great.
We teamed up on him.
Hi, friend. Hi, friend. Hi, friend. Hi, friend. Hi, friend. Hi, friend.
No!
Oh, no!
I was going to go to it when I saw that.
Then came table manners. 4 players, 4 plates of peas, 1 enormous bald man silently reading the newspaper with a desert eagle,
No!
and the rules are quite simple. Eat while he's distracted. The second he looks up, stop. If you don't, he blasts your face without so much as lowering the newspaper. The funniest part is how quickly everyone adapts. One person gets their brains redistributed across the dining table, and everyone else immediately carries on eating like nothing happened, shoveling peas into their mouths with the efficiency of starving Africans until someone finishes.
Oh,
no.
helps his... Oh,
did.
no!
That was me.
A
that
bit
was
greedy
me.
there, a
I
bit
did
greedy there.
exactly-
Yep. Bye-bye.
Metal.
Ah, I'm dead. I've never been shot by him before.
Then we got Tunnel Hazard, or what I would like to call Indian Simulator. The objective is simple. When the train comes, hide inside the green lit gaps in the tunnel's walls. Miss them, and you'll very quickly discover why the train is India's #1 top predator. The first couple of rounds are fairly forgiving. Everyone fits, nobody panics, nobody has to make any difficult decisions. Then the machine starts removing hiding spots, and suddenly it's amazing how quickly survival instincts kick in. 1 second you're laughing with your mates, the next you're physically blocking the only safe space with your body because you've suddenly decided friendship was always temporary. Nobody really wants to be the guy who gets clipped by 300 tons of public transport. This keeps going and the gaps keep getting lower until one survives. Truly an Indian's worst nightmare. Or, if you're just as sadistic as me, you can push your mates into the hole just before the walls crush them to bits.
No! Oh! The metal you threw it too soon. Oh, bye-bye.
fucking jammy bastard.
Then came inside job. Everyone starts off normal. Somewhere in the office is a syringe. Whoever finds it first is immediately tasked with giving everybody else aids. The lights go out, and suddenly the entire office goes completely silent. Nobody wants to be found. Everyone just hides in the darkness, hoping they survive the timer. Or you're as unlucky as Bartrick that gets infected in a millisecond because I found the syringe before he did.
Are you?
Aaron just molested me in a corner.
Gotcha.
This is exactly where I killed Bartrick last time!
Then came smoke break, which somehow takes one of the leading causes of preventable death and turns it into a party game. Everybody gets handed a cigarette, and the objective is simple: finish it before the timer goes out. Unfortunately, the game quickly reminds you that smoking is, in fact, a skill issue. Try rushing it, and your character immediately starts coughing like they've just spent the last 40 years living inside a Victorian chimney. So instead, the whole thing becomes this weird balancing act. Too slow, you lose.
Yeah, we're dead.
Too fast, your lungs begin filling a formal complaint. What really surprised me though was how unbelievably competitive this got. We've spent the last 40 minutes shot, pushed, blown up, grinded, infected one another and more, and somehow competitive smoking was where everybody collectively decided to lock in. Four fully grown adults just sat there trying to outsmoke one another like the winner got a sponsorship from Marlboro. Honestly, if somebody showed me this minigame with absolutely no context, I'd assume it was the best anti-smoking advert ever produced.
Well,
Yeah.
bye-bye, Aaron.
Then came debris platforms. Everybody gets their own platform. Industrial junk starts dropping from above. The objective is to keep your own platform clear, which lasts for about 3 seconds. Because somebody eventually discovers you can throw the debris onto other people's platforms, which immediately becomes the ultimate fuck you version of fly tipping. But that's not only what you got to watch out for. The junk can completely halt your flow and fall directly on top of you if you're not paying attention, which is a guaranteed ticket to becoming a human pancake. Or if you're Aaron, you just completely run off the platform in the first 2 seconds.
Well, bye-bye.
Then came Spinebreaker, which is essentially hot potato. If the potato had been developed by somebody with a deep-rooted hatred of the human spine, disguised as an arachnophobe's worst nightmare. One lucky person gets this thing clamped onto their back as the timer gradually starts ticking faster and faster. The only way of surviving is ripping it off and throwing it towards somebody else before it goes off. Simple enough until you realize everybody else has exactly the same idea, which quickly evolves into pure panic until there is only one left alive. But now, with the lifelong trauma and fear of anything that has more than 2 legs.
I don't like it because of my arachnophobia. It goes for the nearest person. Oh! Well, Bartrick, it's been fun, but you are going to die now. Oh, bye-bye, Aaron. Oh, that was brutal.
Then we got Lethal Rebound, which feels simple. The room fills with spinning circular saw blades that spend the entire round, ricocheting off the walls like homicidal Roombas that have mistaken your ankles for dust bunnies. After about 10 seconds, you start recognizing the patterns. You figure out where they're going, you find little pockets of safety and begin thinking, actually, I think I've got this, which is exactly when the game quietly reminds you that every other player can push you. Suddenly it stops being a game about avoiding saw blades and becomes a social experiment designed to determine which one of your mates would willingly feed you into a woodchipper if it meant gaining more points on the scoreboard. The saws themselves aren't even the dangerous part anymore. They're somewhat predictable. It's your friends who slowly drifting closer and closer to your safe spot, but without saying a word that you need to worry about. The funniest part is how quickly everybody abandons morality if it means you have the chance of pushing someone onto a death Beyblade.
Stop bullying me. Karma, literal karma.
And then Machine Party asked a question that should have involved a background check. Are you forklift certified? No. Does it care? Also no. Everybody gets their own forklift and a warehouse full of cargo. The objective is to load up crates, drive them back to your loading bay and stack them neatly before everyone else. Aaron didn't understand the control somehow, but moving on. This could be respectable day's work. However, the game also allows forklifts to collide with one another, which means it doesn't take long before the warehouse turns into an active insurance insurance claim. People stop collecting crates, and instead they're reversing into each other, stealing loads off each other, and generally behaving like 4 warehouse employees who all found out they were being made redundant at the end of the week. This seemed to be Took's personal best game mode. I'm pretty sure he has the tism for forklifts or something.
All you have to do... Pick it up, pick it up! Oh! Oh, now he talks. Hello, Took. Welcome back, tryhard. Aaron, can you get out the way, you fat fuck? Oh my god, Aaron's sabotaging me because he's a cunt.
I was trying that, but you pushed me off.
Nah!
Then came The Filter, probably the only game in existence where having undiagnosed autism counts as a competitive advantage. The rules are beautifully simple. Artwork goes in the incinerator, scrap metal goes into recycling. Every correct answer earns you a point, every wrong answer earns you absolutely nothing, and whoever finishes the round with the fewest points gets compacted into a shape that's considerably easier to store. Now, unlike some of the other games, there's no trick here. The paintings are obviously paintings, and the scrap is obviously scrap. The machine isn't testing your intelligence, it's testing how quickly your brain can recognize something and your hands can react before everybody else. For reasons I still can't explain, this rapidly became my game. Everyone else was carefully looking at each item, meanwhile my brain had already filled it under either burn or bin before my eyes had fully finished looking at it. Round after round, I was finishing first, not because I had some incredible strategy, not because I was concentrating harder, I just seemed to have the processing speed of an overclocked supermarket checkout operator. I have never been formally diagnosed with autism, but if I ever am, I'm putting this footage in the evidence folder. Meanwhile, everybody else is desperately trying to keep up because finishing last doesn't just mean losing a point. It means the game politely introduces your ribcage to a massive hydraulic press, which, in fairness, is a pretty effective incentive to sort out your recycling properly.
Yay, I'm more autistic. Yay, I'm more autistic. Yay, I'm more autistic.
I need you to help me with potential.
I got electric chromosome, that means I'm special. I lost my mojo there, but I fucked up really bad. Oh, I died. First time. Shit. So that's what it's like to get pounded.
After enough simulations, you begin noticing something. Machine Party does not reward friendship. It reveals its structural weaknesses. Every minigame provides a straightforward objective. Cross the minefield, build a firearm, eat the peas, sort the objectives, move the crates, but many of them also provide an opportunity to interfere. Push somebody off the safe tile,
Go push each other.
steal their cargo,
That's actually scummy, bro. Yeah, I've lost.
Yeah,
That's so scummy, bro. Fuck you.
throw debris onto their platform, give them the spine breaker, use them to distract the hunter. Machine Party never explicitly tells you to become a terrible person. It simply places points on the scoreboard, then waits for human nature to finish the design process. One person cannot be trusted near ledges, one becomes worryingly competent with firearms,
Headshot, bitch.
one will steal every crate they see, and one person somehow fails nearly every game mode.
Goodbye, Aaron.
The scoreboard does not merely record performance, it creates grudges, and those grudges follow you directly into the next simulation. Maybe somebody took your safe space in Tunnel Hazard. Fine, the next game is Inside Job. Now you know who you're infecting first if you find the needle. Machine Party could have presented these as disconnected comedy minigames, but the environment makes everything feel like part of one deeply unpleasant system. The green CRT briefings, the metal walkways, the darkness surrounding every arena. Even the soundtrack sounds like the facility itself is processing information through mechanical anxiety. The characters are not heroes, they are subjects. The minigames are not games, they are simulations. And the machine is not entertaining you, it appears to be measuring something. Performance, compliance, survival instinct. How quickly you will sacrifice another human being once the rules permit it. Normal party games ask which player is best at minigames. Machine Party asks which member of the group should legally be prevented from ever holding authority. Eventually, the session ends, the scores are calculated, the machine decides who performed best, and for a brief moment, you might think everything is over. Then the camera begins pulling back, past the terminal, past the test chamber, past the walls surrounding your simulation and the countless others, and the true scale of the facility is revealed. Massive towers stretched up towards through the darkness. Every level contains more terminals, more tubes, more cells, more simulations. We weren't inside the machine, we were inside one microscopic section of it. One party, 4 names, 1 terminal, among what could be thousands. And suddenly those glowing cells from the beginning take on a different meaning. Maybe our physical bodies were never entering these games. The machine could be loading consciousness into artificial environments, running preset scenarios, measuring the subjects, punishing them, rewarding them, then resetting everything and beginning again. Heck, even that weird intermission of all four of us walking in that wheat field towards the house before a dark figure slams the door shut very obviously leaves me with more questions than answers. I don't know the exact lore, but I'm fairly certain someone someday will make a Reddit post theory and oh, somebody already did. Anyway, that was Machine Party, a collection of 15 industrial nightmares designed to answer one important question. How much physical danger does Mario Party require before people stop calling it family entertainment? We tiptoed through minefields until the machine repossessed our legs. We collectively proved that none of us should ever be trusted with a memory test. We speed ran the arms industry before settling our differences the traditional way. We discovered that escalators become significantly less convenient when they're actively trying to turn you into tomato soup. We took part in the world's least relaxing game of hide and seek. We developed an unhealthy obsession with standing on the correct shape. We learned that table manners improve dramatically when the host has a desert eagle. We found out that friendship lasts exactly until there's only one safe space left. We accidentally started the world's fastest moving AIDS epidemic. We chain smoked like 4 divorced dads trying to beat a world record. We solved waste management by making it somebody else's problem. We played hot potato with what I can only describe as an explosive chiropractor. We winningly fed one another into oversized homicidal bane blades. We proved that forklift certification is at best a polite suggestion. And finally, I discovered I'm apparently the Usain Bolt of industrial recycling, which all helped us discover that every member of this friend group would happily exchange another person's spine for 1 point on a scoreboard. The game is fast, simple, genuinely funny, and understands that the best party games do not need complicated progression systems or long periods of downtime. They need clear rules, short rounds, and enough opportunities for betrayal that every session produces an argument requiring independent witnesses. The industrial presentation makes every simulation feel like part of something far larger. The soundtrack is gritty, the failures are brutal, the rules constantly change based on how unhinged everyone is, and the machine never gives you enough time to emotionally process what happened to the previous player, which is probably intentional and probably for the best. We entered as friends. We left as several active investigations with undiagnosed trauma, and even then, I'm not fully convinced we actually left, because somewhere inside that endless collection of towers, our names may still be sitting on another monitor somewhere, waiting for the next simulation. Anyway, that was Machine Party. Thank you all very much for watching, and a huge thank you to this month's patrons for making these videos possible, and I shall see you all in the next video.